Okay, we got the buggy out of here. It's not running yet, as you know. We still have some carburetor issues, but we're working on that. But I do have a mess in here to clean up. It's nice that the bug's out of here, so it's not that, or the buggy's out of here. So at least that's out, but it is a mess in here. So I have something else to work on today. If you notice, the buggy is in the garage where the 67 Beetle used to be. I say used to be because the Beetle's gone. About a month and a half ago, I guess, I sold the Beetle while I was working on the bug and got rid of it because I knew I was going to need the space. And with the money from selling the bug, I bought my new project vehicle, which I'll go out and show you next. But I'm also, where the Oldsmobile's sitting right there, I'm putting in a 2-post lift. So that's coming in. I got it ordered yesterday. It'll be here in about 5 weeks. So when I built this garage, I planned for a lift to be in here. It just took me, I guess, 6 years to get the actual lift, to have the money to do it. So anyway, the floor's set up for it. The electric's already there and hooked up ready for it. So it's just a matter of putting it in. So today is a kind of a shitty day outside. So I'm going to work on my new project vehicle, just doing some minor things to it. So let's go out and look at that. It's rough, which is what I wanted. The bed is terrible, and I'm getting rid of that, so I'm changing the bed out to something that'll kind of make some people aggravated, I'm sure, but that's to come. So I have a video the day that it arrives, so I'll probably cut to that. But today what I'm doing, I got a battery for it, so I'm going to try to put a battery in it, turn it over. I already poured the plugs and put a little bit of mystery oil in it, but it turns over smoothly already, so we know that. So it's not seized up or anything. So that's what we're gonna do today. We're gonna get under the hood, kind of crank it over. I need a gasket for the carburetor, some things like that. So I don't know that I'll get it started or anything today, but I'm just gonna tinker with it since I'm waiting on the carburetor for the buggy. That's just what I'm gonna do today, just to kind of have a change of pace. But anyway, I'll cut to the video the day that this arrived, and you can look at that. Okay, well, I've been trying to finish up the buggy. I've also been buying this truck, which having it shipped was kind of a nightmare, I guess, because of the storm and stuff. So it took me a while, so that had me really distracted. That's why I didn't make as much progress on the buggy this week, but I'm still getting it done. I wanted an old crusty shop truck, so this is what I want. I have some property that's kind of out in the woods, so four-wheel drive is going to work for me. So that's what I went with. The bed, you can see it's kind of rough, but I knew going into it, I was either going to put a step-side bed on it or maybe even a utility bed on it, so I knew I wasn't worried about this. I mean, it's rusted pretty bad. The other side's not too bad, but anyway, I knew I was going to replace this, so I wasn't too worried about it. The floor is completely rotted out of it, but they put this whole sheet of aluminum and the whole thing, so I've got a bunch of aluminum now that I have, and they actually brazed it. I don't know if you can see, they actually brazed it to the bed, so it was actually kind of intact, so at least I'll have some aluminum to use for something. Inside's not bad, not great, but it had a padded dash, which I think is kind of rare because most of them that I saw didn't have padded dashes. But that'll just come off and I'll just leave it metal. I'll go through the gauge itself. Underneath all the crud looks good. I'll pull that apart, clean the glass. I'm surprised this thing's good in the areas where I didn't expect it to be and bad. I mean, I looked at the pictures before I bought it, but I knew these corners were gone, which is easy for me to fix. Doing sheet metal work, stuff like this, I can do it in my sleep, so I wasn't worried about that. It doesn't bother me. I thought these steps would be bad, but this step in the front's bad. I was going to replace it. I was thinking I was going to have to replace these steps, but this one's, I can just cut it here and replace the front half. But on the passenger side, it's all solid. I mean, this whole section's solid on the other side, so that's not going to be a big deal. Of course, it needs floors underneath there. They had patch panels, but you can get those from LMC, so that'll be an easy fix. The other side I'll show you is right out there, but this side's solid. Needs cab corners, which, I mean, all trucks need cab corners, so that's no big deal on that. There's a little crack here I'll have to weld up. That's what I mean by things you wouldn't expect. It's kind of a weird spot, but it's pretty solid. The hood's in really good shape. I couldn't tell from the pictures if it was dented or if it was rusted or if it was like Bondo. I really couldn't tell, but Turns out it's really solid. So it's got a good hood. It is straight 6, which is also what I wanted. So that's good. It had a snowplow on the front of it, so it's got hydraulics and stuff for all that, which I'll remove. So I won't need all that. I'll clean it all up a little bit. I guess it's got a nice big Uga horn on there. I didn't expect rust here. It's one of the places I didn't really expect rust to be up on these areas, but again, it's easy to fix for me, so I'm not too worried about it. That fenders are fairly solid. The front end, the grill and all that's in good shape for what it is. So you have to look through the crud, and again, it's just going to be a work truck, so I'm not too worried about it. I think I'll just go through the interior, clean it up on the inside. I'll get a new seat, obviously. I'm going to change the steering column. One thing I probably will update as far as updates on the truck, I probably will add power steering to it. That's one of the things I'll probably do to it. And obviously these are the old one-line brake masters, so I'll get rid of that. Obviously that's the first thing. They make a conversion for that, so I can have brakes for front and rear just to make it safer. So that's definitely something I'll do. I'll check and see if it runs here after I finish the buggy. It's just going to set. I'm going to let it set probably till next weekend. I'll get the buggy finished this weekend, and we'll start moving on to this. I'll go around to the other side. And then I'll pull this off too. I'll make a bumper for it. Probably put a winch on it. So you can see this step is completely solid on this side. The front, just like the other side, that's no big deal. And a little hole there, but like I say, for me, that's pretty easy. I don't even mind doing stuff like that. That's kind of fun. So the rest of it's okay. The frame's pretty good on the front. The frame's super solid. I am going to have to do a little bit of work. Maybe I have to dig a little further on the front shackles here. I might have to dig into that a little bit. I may have to repair that some too. So, and what I might do when I buy this truck, the other intention, I want to use it for now, but I might want to build a pre-runner, and if I do, I'm just going to keep this cab, drive it as it is now, get another frame. These frames are the same all the way up to 1978 Fords, so I might back half a frame and completely do a frame separate from the truck, build the frame, get it up, and then just move the cab over to that is a possible plan in the future. I love the bed on this thing, the tailgate, I should say. Anyway, I'm going to clean it out. I'm going to get the stuff out of the bed, just clean it up a little bit, and call it a day on this, and then get back on the buggy. I got the bed all sweeped out. It's actually a nice piece of aluminum. I'll be able to use that aluminum in the step side if I get a step side, so it's pretty good shape. The aluminum is. The bed's trash, but I'll be able to redo that. Been making a list of things I need. From LMC, I'm not going to need that much. Most of the panels I'm going to make. So I'm going to get the bed corners and the floor pans. Other than that, I'll make all the other pieces, so not too bad. Okay, I pulled the old battery out. I got the old negative cable here. This one was obviously junk. Pretty bad shape. Anyway, I found a new one in the old garage, so I have a new one to go in. No big deal. And I cleaned up the end on the positive. I ran some lines and pliers around it. Cleaned that up. I do have to, underneath, when I was under it, getting the negative cable off, this had at some point dropped down on the exhaust and it burnt through and touched, so it may have shorted out, I don't know, at some point, so I got to wrap that up. Anyway, I'll get the new battery in it and we'll crank it over. Okay, we got the new ground cable ran. We got the Walmart special terminal and battery. Got the value battery, 60 bucks. I'm gonna go there and hit some switches, and I got the plugs pulled and turn some things and see what happens. Okay, the ignition doesn't seem to turn properly, so I don't know if that's gonna do anything. Let's try the wipers. Nothing there. Lights, probably nothing. Got no lights. may have no electrical whatsoever, who knows. And this on. And it doesn't seem like the battery's doing anything. Okay, well, that was a waste of time. Okay, so here's just what happened. The truck was in gear, it was in first gear, the battery's over there. The key didn't do anything, so I pulled the key out. I went under here and I touched something, and because the car was in gear, the starter engaged and wouldn't disengage, and it started rolling the truck, and you can see it rolled it all the way up to there. And that's my ladder that was in front of the front wheel. So I couldn't get it disengaged out of gear. It finally quit doing whatever it was doing. So now it's in neutral. So that was fun. I wish I had it on camera, I guess, but I was just gonna walk it all the way up the road until I could get it out of gear. If it was going, I mean, it was going slow. It was just the speed of the starter, but anyway, that was fun. So let's keep working more safely now. Okay, so here's the ignition, what's left of it. It was loose, it basically fell apart. There's the other pieces. So anyway, so I know I'll pull this out, get a new one. I might use the one I have, or I might go ahead and order the right one for this, since I'm going to use it that way. That'll give me a Ford key. If I do it, I'll go look at the price of that. So anyway, so today was just tinkering around day on the truck anyway. So it did turn over and it rolled over, and like I say, I drove it about, I don't know, 15 feet. So I guess this is a more successful test drive than the buggy so far. So anyway, I don't know what else I'll do today, but I'll tinker around a little bit more. Okay, after the test drive, I decided to pull out all this hydraulic stuff that used to run the front plow on the front. So I got everything loose, so I'm just going to pull all this out now because I don't need it. I'm just going to get it out of the way.